What's up, guys? We're back with a full slate of NBA action here on Wednesday, January 22nd. We're going to break down every NBA game tonight, look at bets on the side and over-under, and make sure to check that pinned comment throughout the day to see if there are any changes as injury news and player availability is confirmed. In terms of a recap today, guys, unfortunately, none of the games are finished at time of recording. We're trying to get Baby Stump here, starting to get him on a schedule, so unfortunately can't wait for these games to all be over. Right now, things are looking okay. The Knicks have a nice halftime lead. We see Portland actually winning there at halftime against the Heat, so that's obviously a great look for us. And the Magic, they are up by 5 points at halftime over Toronto, so we're in good shape. We'll see how things shake out over the course of the night. Hopefully we're looking at a 3-0 day here, but we'll just have to wait and see. If you want to win all of your bets today, do me a big favor, hit that like button. It really helps show support for the channel and helps get these videos promoted to more people out there. Also, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our daily content. You can now also, guys, sign up for a channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. Members get exclusive early access to all NFL and college football videos and get their names up on screen just like right now. I really appreciate the support from all of you. Seeing that badge next to your comments really keeps me fired up, helps keep me motivated, knows that there's some really true hardcore fans out there that are willing to pay $5 a month just to get my videos a little bit early and to show some support for the channel. So really appreciate all the channel members out there. Also, guys, all of our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. Like I've talked about all the time, we have a team of experienced cappers over there that are covering every major sport. Right now, we're looking at NFL, NBA, NCAA football. Just ended on a win there. We had Ohio State there in the championship game. They won and covered for us. UFC's been going nuts. NHL season is in full swing. That got off to a slow start, but now is just headed towards the moon. So that's been going really well. And guys, college basketball picks every single day. That's one of our most profitable sports over the course of the season. Eventually, we may end up switching over this channel to college basketball. We'll see what happens, but right now we're sticking with NBA for the time being. We've been on a sick run over there the last several days at this point, so definitely click the link in the description. Go to StumpTheSpread.com if you aren't sure if you really want to sign up for a premium package. I know that can be kind of a financial commitment. You can definitely sign up for our free email list to get the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox. You'll also get daily updates on our results, all kinds of good stuff like that. So certainly worth being on that email list. And we don't spam you guys. We send you one email today with actual pertinent information that, actually matters to you that day. Like if there's a late game that's a free pick, we'll send that email out to you just to make sure that you can get on it if you want. There's a whole write-up, lets you make your own decision. So that being out of the way, guys, do me a favor, comment below with any bets you're looking today. I'll do my absolute best to get back to you. I really appreciate all the, congratulations and all that kind of good stuff in the comments. It means a lot. It's been a really special time for me and my family right now. So thank you to everybody that's, been rooting us on, cheering us on through, obviously a stressful but very happy time. Now, guys, let's get after it. As always, look for that pinned comment. That's where all of our favorite plays of the day go. Let's look at our first game tonight. We've got a pretty interesting one, actually. We've got the Detroit Pistons going on the road here to take on the Atlanta Hawks. The Pistons come into this game fresh off a very nice 107-96 win there over the Rockets. Cade Cunningham really establishing, some dominance in that game. Dude is looking like a absolute just monster. Very happy to see the Pistons doing well. One of our, main handicappers at Stump the Spread is actually a big Detroit Pistons fan. He was watching every game during the Monty Williams era. He really deserves this to be a nice season. Things are going great for the Pistons right now. They've won 3 out of their last 5. They're 22-21. Definitely looking like a legitimate playoff team out there in the East, which is kind of crazy to say. Looking at their injury report for this game, they're fully healthy, so all hands on deck for the Pistons. They're looking very good. Obviously not having Ivy the rest of the season, or at least probably the rest of the season, that really sucks, but loving what we're seeing from Cade, Tim Hardaway Jr., Asar Thompson's looking really good. Tobias Harris looks like a decent, if not elite, consummate professional type of reliable veteran out there. So we like that for them. Obviously, Jalen Duren's playing well, and Malik Beasley's been an absolute monster off the bench. So loving what we're seeing from Detroit right now as they go on the road to take on these Atlanta Hawks, who are 22-20 on the season. They had a sick 3-game run where they beat the Suns, the Bulls, and then beat the Celtics. That was pretty crazy, but they weren't able to get over the top there at the Knicks there on Martin Luther King Day. We had a chance to cover that game. We actually were on the Hawks and the points in that one, but it was tough. Trae Young rims out of 3, and it just wasn't the best game there for Atlanta. So we'll see what they can do in this one. I mean, they come into this game still with some question marks. I mean, Ricochet going to be out for this game for sure. We see Trae Young and Jalen Johnson both on the injury report, so obviously their availability makes a huge deal. Looks like Trae Young, he's probable there with that ongoing, Achilles maintenance, and Jalen Johnson, he's questionable, continuing to deal with that shoulder issue. So it doesn't really seem that shoulder problem is going to go away. I think we're going to see a lot of question marks about his availability, over the course of the rest of the season. So looking at the numbers for this one, the Hawks actually 2.5-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 235.5. Detroit 14, 7, and 1 against spread on the road. That is a crazy, crazy number. They're 8, 11, and 2 against spread after a win. The Hawks, 8 and 10 against spread at home. They are 8 and 11 against spread after a loss. Guys, I am a little bit concerned about this one. Maybe the Pistons are getting too much hype, but I'm buying into the hype right now. Give me Detroit getting 2.5 points in this one. I'm not loving what I'm seeing from the Hawks lately. They are a team that can play really well offensively, but I think Jalen Johnson really being limited by his shoulder is a big deal, and I'm not worried about Trey necessarily, but I do think he could struggle a little bit against the, kind of the length and athleticism of these Detroit defenders. So we'll see what happens. The last time these teams played, we saw a 122 to 121 win there for the Pistons. So go ahead and give me Detroit on the road in this one. It's got a real chance to end up in the pinned comment. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Phoenix Suns going on the road here to take on the Brooklyn Nets. The Suns come into this game 21 and 21 on the season, fresh off of a kind of blowout, embarrassing loss there at Cleveland. Things are looking pretty dark here for the Suns. I don't know if they can even make a trade. Like, they don't have a lot of flexibility right now, and yeah, just things looking pretty bleak. They come into this game healthy with the exception of Bradley Beal. He is currently, dealing with that ankle issue. He's questionable for this game, so we'll see what happens. I am not super confident in his availability for all of the obvious reasons. The Suns just feels like they need to make a move here. I mean, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker can only do so much. Tyus Jones was being looked at as kind of the savior for this team. He was going to be able to play point guard, and Booker wasn't going to have to play point guard, and that was going to change everything. Well, that just has not been the case. Also, Nurkic being brought in was supposed to help a lot. That is not helping at all. We see Nick Richards, Mason Plumlee getting all the minutes there at center. So we'll see what happens for the Suns as they go on the road here to take on the Nets, who are currently playing right now against the Knicks, guys. So going to be a back-to-back night for the Nets. Obviously, this game being played at Barclays means they won't have to travel, but things are looking pretty bleak there for Brooklyn. I mean, they are starting to play some guys like D'Angelo Russell playing in this game. Like, we'll see if he plays on this back-to-back. Obviously, Ben Simmons, Cam Thomas, Zaire Williams sitting out. We'll see if they actually sit this one out, but bringing guys in, like Russell actually playing and Cameron Johnson playing is, I guess, a step in the right direction of this team actually, trying to play semi-competitive basketball, but we'll see who's available out there. The Nets are getting 10 points in this game. We've got a total of 220.5. The Suns 8 and 13 against spread on the road, 3 and 4 against the spread with a rest advantage. The Nets 6 and 11 against spread at home, 5 and 3 against spread on no rest. They're also 15, 12, and 1 against spread after a loss if they do go on to lose this game against the Knicks. So we'll see what happens there. This is kind of a tough one to figure out. Obviously, the Nets are keeping things very close to the chest almost all the time with their weird injury or fake injury situation. So right now I'm leaning towards the Suns at -10, in something of a get-right spot for, some guys who have played, mostly Kevin Durant, who've played in Brooklyn before. So go ahead and give me the Suns as a small lean, but not a spot that I'm in love with at all. Moving right along here, guys, we're looking at the Minnesota Timberwolves going on the road to take on the Dallas Mavericks. The Timberwolves come into this game 22 and 21 on the year, but they've lost 3 out of their last 4. Their last loss was kind of a heartbreaker, losing by 2 points there at Memphis. So we'll see if they can bounce back. Obviously, not a great feeling for Minnesota to be, barely over 500. This team just not that good. They're really screwing up Anthony Edwards' career right now. They eliminated spacing. That is not what you do around an elite talent like Anthony Edwards. You need to create spacing, find shooting and defenders for him, and that is just the opposite of what they did. You don't want Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle in there. You are much better off with Karl-Anthony Towns. So we'll see what happens with the team down the stretch, but obviously they're not playing their best basketball right now. They are fully healthy, but when you're starting a point guard as old and kind of starting to look slow and unable to defend like Mike Conley, that's not great. DiVincenzo being out for this team is obviously a pretty big deal. Anthony Edwards can do his thing. Julius Randle has his moments, and obviously Naz Reid coming off the bench can be a monster, but Rudy Gobert, a non-offensive threat, and yeah, Julius Randle really all over the place. So not loving what we're seeing from Minnesota right now. They're going on the road to take on the Mavs, who are having a rough time. They lost 4 out of their last 5 with that weird win over the Thunder. Not nearly the full strength Thunder, but still, they are coming off a 110 to 105 loss there at Charlotte. So things looking very bleak as this team, just waits and prays for the, hopefully soon imminent return of Luka Doncic, but we don't have any word on when that's actually going to be. Looking at the injury report, it does appear Kyrie is going to be, ready to go for this game, but we see Clay, Derek Lively the second, Jaden Hardy, and Quentin Grimes, Najee Marshall. Like, there's a ton of dudes on this injury report. So we're going to dive in here. I mean, right now, Clay looks like he's going to be questionable with that ankle issue. Even if he does play, I think having a messed up ankle, actually, I know personally, having a messed up ankle can really affect your shot. Even if you're able to play, you're going to be a little bit worse defensively, and that shot not usually quite as reliable. Derek Lively also dealing with an ankle injury. He's questionable out there. Jaden Hardy with his ankle, he's officially out for this game. Quentin Grimes with his back issue, he's questionable. And Najee Marshall, guys, someone who's scoring they could really use, is questionable, dealing with an illness. So looking like going to be far from the full strength Dallas Mavericks for this game. That's why the Mavs are getting 2 points in this one. We've got a total of 217 out there. Minnesota 13 and 10 against spread on the road, 8, 11, and 1 against spread after a loss. Dallas 11 and 10 against spread at home, 9, 9, and 1 against spread after a loss. guys, I think this is a great spot to jump in here early on the Minnesota Timberwolves at -2. I think this line's going to get much, much higher, especially as we start getting confirmation that dudes are going to be out there for the Mavericks. I think Anthony Edwards can at least slow down Kyrie a little bit, or not maybe slow him down, make things a little bit tough on him. And unless Kyrie plays amazing, it's really, really hard for the Mavs to win games at this point. So -2 seems like a very, very good spot for me to go ahead and be on the Timberwolves. This play has a great chance to end up in the pinned comment. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Cleveland Cavaliers going on the road to take on the Houston Rockets. This is the game that should be nationally televised, not that Minnesota-Dallas game that is being televised, especially with no Luka. Like, what's the NBA doing here? Move these games around, switch this around, like flex these out. We want to see these big games. I mean, I'm going to be seeing it either way, but still, I mean, I don't want to tell you guys where to watch your games, but maybe you got League Pass or some other way to watch it. But I'm definitely going to be watching this one, guys. A very exciting game. The Cavaliers 36-6 over the course of the season. They've won 3 out of their last 4. They're coming off a blowout win there against the Suns. They had a nice win against the Timberwolves as well. So Cleveland really playing well. No notes for me about Cleveland, guys. They are clearly one of the best teams out there in the NBA. We've seen Donovan Mitchell be a little bit up and down, but he's coming off a 33-point night, so it seems like he is back on track. The Cavaliers come into this game a little bit banged up, unfortunately for them. I mean, Evan Mobley listed as out for this game, dealing with that calf issue. They do not want to be rushing him back. This is obviously, one of their most important, one of their most vital players out there. So he's going to be out for this game. Karis LeVert could be out. That definitely, limits the, depth of their bench. He's questionable with that wrist issue. He's kind of had wrist issues over the course of his career. So he was a late scratch there against the Suns. It seems like there's a decent chance that he comes back for this game, but not 100% confidence. However, this is a team that definitely has some depth. So if LeVert is out, we see more minutes for guys like Ty Jerome, Max Strus. Niang playing extra minutes maybe isn't the best, but really, I don't think Karis LeVert being out is the end of the world, but it's obviously not ideal. Obviously, Okoro being out isn't ideal either. He's dealing with that shoulder issue. He's officially out for this game. So they could use his defensive punch in there for sure, but the Cavs, not at full strength, but I don't think they're too banged up here as they go on the road to take on the Houston Rockets, who come into this game, guys, fresh off a loss, a 107-96 loss against the Pistons. They kind of got punked out there, if I'm being honest. They had 0 answers for Cade Cunningham. So a very tough game there for the Rockets. They've actually lost 2 out of 3, losing against the Kings also. So we'll see what they can do at home. This is a pretty big test going up against the Cleveland team, even as a Cleveland team that's not at full strength. So like I said, we'll see what happens out there, guys. The Rockets come to this game fully healthy, so that's nice. But what's Fred VanVleet going to be able to do out there? I mean, I would think it'd be a decent game for him, a decent situation. Like Garland doesn't play a whole lot of defense. Neither does Donovan Mitchell, obviously. I'm expecting big stuff from Jalen Green. It really kind of feels like it could be a good game out there for Houston, even in, a pretty tough matchup. They're fully healthy. Cleveland certainly not fully healthy. The Rockets are at home also. They're getting 1.5 points in this game. Cleveland 14-5 against the spread on the road, though. That's an NBA best mark. They're also 24-11 against spread coming off of a win. Houston, they're 11-10 against spread at home, but they are 9-4 against spread after a loss. This one feels a little bit tough to me. I'm leaning a lot on Cleveland being banged up here, but I think this is a spot I want to be on the Rockets at home getting 1.5 points. I really wish we were getting like 5 points in this game. I really, really wish that was the case. If Cleveland was closer to healthy, if it was just like Mobley was the only one out or something like that, but I'm going to be siding with the Rockets here at plus 1.5. I don't know if I can quite put this one in the pinned comment though. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Charlotte Hornets. They're going on the road to take on the Memphis Grizzlies in this one. The Hornets 11-28 on the season, but they've won their last 3 in a row, taking down the Jazz, the Bulls, and the Mavericks. So good stuff there from Charlotte. They're actually a pretty decent team when they're healthy. Obviously, they're not going to be fully healthy here for a bit, but really liking what we're seeing from guys like LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges playing really well. This is a pretty decent team. It feels like, to me, they're only like maybe 1 or 2 pieces, or just, having a fully healthy season, and then just one piece away from being, a borderline play-in team there, or maybe a legitimate play-in or playoff team out there in the West. They definitely got some talent on the roster. I mean, we love what we saw from LaMelo Ball in that game, but it was really a team effort. I mean, Nick Smith Jr., 19 points, 23 from Miles Bridges. As a team, they shot 43.6% from three-point range. That will certainly work. So, yeah, good stuff there. They got to really pick it up here going on the road, though, to take on the Grizzlies, who are a legitimate playoff, very, very good team. They're 28-15 on the year. They've won 4 out of their last 5, coming off that 2-point win over the Timberwolves. Loving what we're seeing from Memphis right now, and they have not been healthy all season long either. So everything they've done has usually been done, without their full, complement of players. We do see they're pretty healthy for this game, healthier than they've been in recent memory, guys. Ja ready to go, guys. Obviously, he's going to be very, very motivated coming off of, finding out he's not going to be, I guess not finding out, but, becoming ineligible there for NBA awards, full season awards. He's missed too many games. Desmond Bane, he's been playing well. Also, he's coming off a 22-point game, and he's ready to go. So, liking this spot for the Grizzlies until we see that the spread is 11.5 points there for Memphis. That's a big number, guys. We got a total of 237. Charlotte 10-8-1 against spread on the road. They're 6-3-1 against spread after a win. Memphis 14-7 against spread at home. They're 15-12 against spread after a win. Guys, this isn't going in the pin comment, I'll tell you what. But I also do think there's some value there on the Hornets getting 11.5 points. It's some decent matchups there for them. Obviously, I do think they'll struggle to guard guys like, obviously everybody struggles to guard Ja Morant, but I do think they'll struggle a little bit to guard Jaren Jackson Jr., but other than that, I do think, we'll see good amounts of scoring there from the Hornets. So, yeah, go ahead and give me them to keep this game respectable, but not a play that's going in the pin comment for me. Next on the docket, we've got the Milwaukee Bucks going on the road to take on the New Orleans Pelicans. The Bucks come into this game winners of 4 in a row, but when your wins are against the 76ers, Raptors, the Skeleton Crew there for the Magic, the Sacramento Kings win is actually decent, but really not necessarily in love with what we're seeing from the Bucks. They're a really weird team. They could end up being one of the best teams record-wise in the East, but is anybody going to be happy to face them in the first round, even if they go in as like the 6th seed? Absolutely not. Nobody's going to want to face Giannis and Dame in the playoffs. So we'll see what they do down the stretch, but it's been really, really weird over the course of the season. The Bucks come into this game relatively healthy. Obviously, you're always going to see Giannis on there. I'm pretty sure he is probable for this game with, his knees existing. So yeah, that is the case. We see Chris Middleton. He's on there as well with his ankles. He's probable. AJ Green comes into this game, guys. Derry Bird is dealing with a quad injury, and he won't be playing in this game in New Orleans. So we'll see what they can do here going on the road. The Pelicans, all of a sudden, turning things around. They've won 5 out of their last 6. Their only loss was a 1-point loss there against the Celtics. Again, they definitely could have won. All that being said, guys, 2 of those wins were against the Jazz. 1 of them was against the Bulls. 1 of them against the 76ers. This is a favorable stretch of schedule. Absolutely no doubt about it. That being said, obviously, though, they could have definitely and maybe should have won that game against the Celtics. So we'll see what they can do in this one. Obviously, coming off a 123-119 win there against the pretty hapless Utah Jazz. Has to feel kind of good. It did take them overtime to beat the Jazz, though. That's not exactly how that's supposed to go. Monster game from CJ McCollum. 45 points, 18 of 31 from the field. He's looking amazing out there. Not seeing Zion playing, though, doesn't feel amazing. We'll see if he suits up for this one. He's listed as day-to-day. Dejounte Murray is too, so we'll see what goes on. I mean, Murray, guys, dealing with his elbow. He's probable for this game, and Zion dealing with an illness. Come on, dude. You got to play basketball at some point. He is listed as questionable for this game. So I'd say there's a decent shot that Zion plays in this one. But I don't know, guys. The reports that I'm seeing right now is he's trending towards missing this game as well. He's also missed 1 game, already to this illness. He didn't play on Monday. So we'll see what happens. I don't know, guys. Maybe Zion just doesn't like playing basketball anymore. It's really, really hard to tell at this point. But looking at the numbers, the Pelicans are getting 8 points here at home. We've got a total of 230.5. Milwaukee, 8-10 against spread on the road, 11-12-1 against spread after a win. The Pelicans, 12-12 against spread at home, a number that's been getting better and better. 5-6 against spread after a win, another number that's been getting better and better. So at first glance, this feels like too many points for the Pelicans, right? But when you look at these teams that they've been beating over the course of this, little good stretch they've had, I don't know. It loses a little bit of its luster, guys. It loses a little bit here. I mean, the Bucks aren't necessarily some amazing world-beating team, but they can go out there and beat any team and beat them pretty soundly. I'm going to be taking Milwaukee on the road in this game as a small lean. It's probably not a pin comment play, but if we find out, that Zion's going to play, jump on the Pelicans. Even if he's trending towards playing, jump on those Pelicans at +8. But right now, assuming he's not playing, and we've got, McCollum in a huge letdown spot, and, the whole team coming off a big overtime win, I think this is a letdown spot for the Pelicans, and we see the Bucks get the job done here. So I'm shading towards the Bucks. This could even go in the pin comment if I find out that, Zion is not playing in this game. Moving right along, guys, we're looking at the Utah Jazz going on the road to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Jazz are 10-31 this season, having a pretty rough time. They've lost their last 3 in a row, including losing back-to-back games against the Pelicans. At least the second game was pretty competitive, but it's been very, very bleak there for the Jazz. I'm really excited for them to start selling guys off like Colin Sexton. I was a huge proponent of the Warriors doing basically whatever they needed to do to add Lauri Markkanen to the team, but it just didn't happen. So we'll see what happens with the Jazz here down the stretch. What's going to happen, though, is going to be a lot more losses because that is what they're trying to do. We see Markkanen and John Collins both listed as out for this game. Colin Sexton's in there, so they're going to be trying, at least he's going to be trying, Jordan Clarkson out. Yeah, just not a lot of guys playing right now for this Utah Jazz team. So we'll see what they can do. They're going on the road to play maybe the best team in the NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are fresh off of dismantling the Nets 127-101. The Thunder have just been an amazing team all season long, guys. They're not even close to full strength. They're going to be getting Chet back. They've had, Hartenstein's been out for a bit now. We see Jalen Williams there on the injury report. He's listed as questionable with that hip issue, so they're probably not going to play everybody here against the Jazz. I'd be kind of shocked to see them play everyone, to be honest. Why would you do that? You just need to get the win and then, just move on and wait for your guys to get healthy. Once Chet comes back, this team is going to be some kind of scary. The Thunder, 17.5 point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 222.5. The Jazz, 14-9 against spread on the road, 15-15 against spread after a loss. The Thunder, 14-5-1 against spread at home, 22-10-2 against spread after a win. But guys, this is not a normal spread. This is 17.5 points, almost 20 points out there. So this is a sticky spot for me. I, in my heart, think the Jazz should be able to keep this game relatively close against a probably kind of unmotivated Thunder team. Like, how up can you get for this game against the Jazz? Like, you're at home, you're in the comforts of home, stuff like that. So we'll see. I'm leaning towards the Jazz and the points in this spot since just so many points, but I don't think this is a spot that I can put in the pinned comment, guys. The Thunder can win this game by 60 points if the Jazz really don't show up. So we'll see what happens, but not an amazing game in my opinion. Next on the docket, we're looking at the other nationally televised game of the night with the Golden State Warriors going on the road to take on the Sacramento Kings. The Warriors are having a rough time. They're coming off a 125-85. Yeah, 125-85, losing that game by 40 points. We were on the Celtics -10. That was one of the biggest locks of the year so far. I feel like I really should have made it a big bet play. I don't know what. Maybe I'm a little distracted. Maybe we got some dad brain going on. I feel like that is definitely a possibility. But the Warriors having a rough time going through it right now. We'll see what they can do. I mean, they're 21-21 on the season. They are very much not healthy for this game. We see Draymond listed as out. He's going to be missing a few more games at least. We see Pajemski. He's out as well. I don't know how big of a deal that is really, but also he's not 100% confirmed out for this game, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be out. And Kuminga still dealing with that ankle. He wasn't wearing a walking boot on Wednesday, so that's, a step in the right direction. But this is news from 6 days ago, so he's, in the middle of his recovery. He'll be back eventually, but I don't think anytime soon. I'd love if the Warriors could find a way to move him for, any sort of meaningful piece, but I really don't think the value for him is that high because I don't really think Kuminga's that good. So we'll see what the Warriors do here. Things are looking pretty bleak, feeling really, really bad for Steph Curry. They're going on the road here to take on the Kings, who are looking much, much better recently. They're 22-20 on the season, playing some of their best ball of the year. They're fresh off a 23-point blowout against the Wizards. They had a very nice win against the Rockets. This is a team that's on the up and up, guys. They are headed very, very much in a positive direction. They're very good offensively, not amazing defensively, but they're finding a way to make the DeRozan situation work. And yeah, a coaching change seems like it was just what the Kings needed. They come into this game fully healthy, so we love to see that. Fox playing well. Malik Monk in the starting lineup is definitely working out, although he plays plenty of minutes there with the second unit as well. DeMar DeRozan finally fitting in. Keegan Murray starting to knock down the occasional shot, which is a pretty big deal. I've seen that guy go nuts and win him some playoff games, so it's kind of wild to see how bad he was shooting the ball. But Sabonis out there, a constant, guys. He's been so good once again this season, so we'll see what they can do out there in this game, but I'm feeling pretty good right now looking at the Kings at -8. We've got a total of 227.5. The Warriors 10-9-1 against spread on the road, a number that has been tanking recently. They're also 10-9-1 against spread after a loss, another number that's tanking. The Kings 8-13-3 against spread at home, a number that's getting much, much better. And they're 9-10-2 against spread after a win, another number that is trending in a positive direction. Guys, I love this spot. The Kings kind of hate the Warriors. Give me Sacramento here at -8. I think they'll be more than happy to bury Steph and Golden State. No Draymond in here is a bad thing for the Warriors. They're just not very many reliable options. Nobody gets Steph the ball in the spots that he needs. Nobody out there to really create the kind of confusion and chaos on defense that Draymond can. So definitely give me the Kings here at -8. This might be my favorite play of the day here on this pretty crowded NBA slate. Last but not least here, guys, we're looking at the Boston Celtics. They're going on the road to take on the Los Angeles Clippers. The Celtics come into this game fresh off of that demolition there of the Warriors. They needed that as a bounce back from losing to the Hawks, a game you're obviously not supposed to lose. It feels like the Celtics are kind of sleepwalking through this regular season. They don't care about the regular season. They are trying to repeat as NBA champions. They needed a lot of injury luck for that to happen, or maybe they didn't need it, but a lot of injury luck went their way last year, so we'll see. They're definitely a team on a mission this season. They come into this game looking relatively healthy. We do see Drew Holiday listed as day-to-day. So is Al Horford. In terms of Holiday's availability, he's dealing with a shoulder issue. He's questionable. Will they bring him back for this game against the Clippers? We'll have to see, guys. It's a little bit, it's feeling very, very up in the air. Al Horford with his toe issue, he's questionable as well. I would be, he always sits out one leg of the back-to-back, and this is the first part of a back-to-back here for the Celtics. So we'll see what happens as they're going on the road here to take on the Clippers, who are 24-18 on the year. They're coming off a loss against the Bulls, but in general have played pretty well this season, probably a little bit above expectations at least. We've seen big stuff from Norman Powell. James Harden's had his moments, and we've seen Kawhi come back and look like a basketball player, I guess. A little bit of a shell of his former self situation, but he's played very little basketball recently, so we'll see if he can, get back to full strength by the time the playoffs come around. The Clippers injury report is going to be our main focus of this game, guys, because we have basically their entire starting lineup on there. Not quite, but close. The only one that isn't is Derrick Jones Jr. We also have guys in the second unit on here. Like it's a kind of a disaster out there right now. I mean, Harden, he's got a groin issue. He's questionable for this game. So I'll be a little bit surprised if he doesn't sit out the first half of this back-to-back. So Harden might be out. Norman Powell questionable with a back soreness. So seems like a ramp up to them sitting him out as well. And he's been probably their best player honestly this season. Kawhi, he's going to be out for this one also. Like he's not playing. We see Zubac, he's likely out for this game. So definitely feeling like a game that the Clippers are pretty much just surrendering, and they're going to move on to the second half of the back-to-back after giving up a loss in this one. So looking at the numbers out here, guys, they are moving around a lot as this injury news continues to break. Right now we're looking at all over the place. All over the place. Some books have it listed as -9. Some books have it listed as -6 or 6.5. I'm going to be leaning towards the real line, probably being somewhere around that -9. And right now, guys, despite the fact Boston's only 6-22-1 against spread after a win, I think this is a great spot to be on the Celtics as long as they're going to play almost all of their actual players, as opposed to wanting to be on the Clippers here, who are going to play what looks like no one. So definitely give me the Celtics here at anything less than 10 points, as long as all those Clippers guys continue to look like they're going to sit out. I'm probably not going to lock this one into the pin comment yet. This could end up in the pin comment later in the day once I get a little bit more information. And guys, I'm more than happy to take the Celtics here as anything less than double-digit favorites, with the Clippers resting Norman Powell and or Harden. It's pretty much just a give-up game from them. All the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your picks. And please, I really appreciate all the likes and subscribes and shares. We're trying to get things ramped back up on this channel. Obviously, it isn't off to like a flying start necessarily, but you know how that is when a channel hasn't posted in a while. It wasn't my fault. I was trying to post, just YouTube wouldn't let me there for a minute. But shout out to the YouTube support team. We're back up and running, so I am very, very happy. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. I'm more than happy to get back to you. I try to answer every single comment, and I will at least eventually. I've built up a backlog. I've got a brand new baby in the house. This is going to be his third night at home or second night at home or something like that. I can't remember. I can't keep my days straight hardly. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you for watching. Make sure to click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com. Tons of great information over there, free information and paid information for you guys, who are more serious sports bettors. We will see you tomorrow for more sports betting action.